Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers Podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season, we'll be discussing a dark academia bully romance series known for its smutty content and often billed as a Harry Potter for adults. That's right, grab your Stardust, we're headed to Solaria.
Welcome to Zodiac Academy. Note to students, vampire bites, loss of limbs, or getting lost in the Wailing Woods will not count as a valid excuse for being late to class or this podcast.
In today's episode, we're discussing Book 7, Heartless Sky, chapters 1 through 9, where some long-awaited theories are finally confirmed, some regrettably proven wrong, and some backstory revealed with the return of the Chica.
Before we get into it, this is your warning for major spoilers ahead. This includes potentially all Zodiac Academy World books, including the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary series. We might accidentally let spoilers slip for other popular romantasy book series as well. Sorry in advance, like the books, this podcast is rated R, so be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder, please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
So last we left off, everyone had thankfully just survived and escaped Lionel's death pit. The bonds on Tori and Darius have all been broken, and the revolution has officially begun. Although if you ask Geraldine, it started the night Diego died. So everyone is riding off into the sunset on Dante's back, and Darcy is very hopeful at this moment because they just had what basically is their first real small victory, if you don't count the Imperial Star, which they can't use, so.
True. I mean, it's good to start off the book on a high note, although I still feel like it's kind of a bittersweet beginning. As we get the perspective from both of the twins, we're reminded it's cost so much for them to get here.
Very true.
And I feel like for this particular intro, I really liked it. I felt like it gave maybe more insight into Darcy than it has in any book in the past. I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it for that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
The gang is all heading to this magically expanded underground house called the Burrows.
I have some thoughts about that. I have a lot of thoughts about that, actually. The way I literally went, are you fucking kidding me?
Are
you fucking kidding me? So now we're not even hiding it. Now it's just straight up the burrow. And it's a farmhouse. And then as we continue to read that chapter, it gets more and more like some of our very familiar places from Harry Potter, which are Grimmauld Place and the Burrow. So I think it's kind of a weird mix of the headquarters of the Order of the Phoenix, which, of course, they couldn't name their little group the Order of the Phoenix, which is ironically a better title for their group.
I did not catch that.
God. I didn't either.
I'm just saying, how funny is it that would have been the best title for the Cox? Okay. And then...
Oh, God.
And then you're telling me it's out of a farmhouse with all these magical enchantments so that people can't get in. You have to be sworn in. You can't, that the house knows if you have ill intent upon entering, which is a hallmark of Grimmauld Place. If you remember, there's a scene where Harry has to trick one of the spells that's on Grimmauld Place to get himself in, because it keeps everyone out at that point in the books. I think that's crazy. And then also the fact that there's a grandfather clock that's mentioned as they come in, which is so clearly like the Weasley's grandfather clock that places where all of them are in space and stuff. So it's different, but it's also the same. It's just crazy how clear it is in this opening chapter. I was like, this is gotta be a joke.
Yeah.
Rant over.
I would say I skipped over my small little rant, and it's nothing important. It's just one little thing that Darcy says that I feel is kind of maybe an insensitivity on the part of the authors. And she says, and I quote, Fighting tyrants and riding dragons had been the kinds of dreams I would never have even dared to try and wish into reality. Riding dragons, I completely understand. That is a yes on all accounts. I wish that into reality. But fighting tyrants?
I mean, at least her life is interesting.
But I would not wish that into reality on any day.
Truly.
Just a planet probably hit, because, I've read this book like 18 times. It hit differently because of reality itself. So that just kind of got to me.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Especially for some recent events.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. If you read this book maybe 15 years ago, and you were the same age 15 years ago, I don't think you would have caught it.
Yeah, no, I didn't even recognize it the first several times I read it. It was literally just this time.
Yeah, we are recording this in November for some context.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So the rebels are all congregating at this spot, and we don't know if these are all rebels who were fighting in the death pit battle or if they were just already there.
Right.
But they kind of have some really bad reactions, and they're a little bit infuriating. Like the second that Xavier steps down, they're like, "Oh, it's a little Acrux, get him!" And I'm like, dude, that boy just fought in a battle for y'all against his father, and you're going to sit there and act like that?
I didn't understand that part.
It just shows they're so out of the loop.
What do you mean you didn't understand?
Oh, I mean, they're rebels. They're fighting against this tyranny, and yet they are acting just like Lionel. I don't understand that. I just didn't make sense. And even for Hamish, his power shaming response was kind of odd because, I mean, I don't know if there is a physical reaction that happens with power shaming, but blatantly there are plenty of those that it doesn't happen with, or they can overcome it. And so it seems silly that you would have people in this rebellion that would rebel against people that are critical to the outcome.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I know some of them. I'm thinking a lot of them are actually refugees instead of people who are fighting. So they're
people who have been oppressed by the regime, kind of.
Yeah, Tiberian rats, sphinxes, minotaurs.
So they should be the first ones to shut the fuck up and accept people. Otherwise, we can hand deliver you.
Yeah, no, I agree. The whole rebellion, and sometimes even the Ass Club, they have some point of views that I'm like, I don't like that. I really just don't.
I guess it's hard because we have to remember that they are actually, I guess if you think about it, they're actually kind of traditionalists. They are rebels, but they are fighting for the original regime, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, shit.
So, sorry. It's true, though.
I guess so. Is it the original regime if Lionel was the one that was technically running it?
I still think that they're royalists. So I think that they are fighting for the original regime, and Lionel is really kind of the outlier here.
Honestly, what bothers me a little bit about this group is that if it were the Vegas on the throne saying orders should be separated, blah, 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 they would totally support them.
That's the problem. But they know that. But the thing is, the twins wouldn't do that. But if Jerry heard that the twins thought that the orders should be suppressed, then she would probably go, I don't know about that, guys. But then if they doubled down, then Jerry would be like, all right, we're doing it.
Damn.
Whatever you want. Yeah. Yeah. Also, can I just say, I imagined Hamish as a skinny little guy.
Oh, really?
I did not imagine him as this big burly man. I don't know why. I imagined him tall, but I imagined him little.
In my mind, he is tall and skinny too.
Seriously, I imagine
like a
him
nerd,
big and burly, and like the little ruddy face, and
that's how he is. I think, and that makes sense.
He's
like that he's
Cerberus.
big and burly.
He's a Cerberus, so he's supposed to be, bulky, but just the way that my mind pictures him is like a nerd.
So a bit like Luna Lovegood's dad.
Yeah,
maybe
but
more
a little bit more sane. A little bit.
Yeah, the name Hamish to me says snivelly in a weird way. Not like snivelly as in snivelly Snape, but as in like rat-faced. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good. So Catalina is also there in disguise, and she greets, her son. She asks about her other son. She greets Tori like a daughter, and then she greets Orion like a son as well. And Darcy's kind of looking at it, and she's a little envious of it. Do you think that Catalina is going to become a mother to the twins in some way?
Probably so, especially once Orion and Darcy become mates. I think probably it'll be satisfied. Just saying. I know it's happening. Don't lie to me.
You don't think Stella is going to be Darcy's mommy?
We'll get to Stella later.
I think we might have to assassinate Stella as a couple.
That's fine with me.
I did feel bad for Darcy here a little bit as someone who has yearned for a mother before. I feel her there.
Yeah, it's literally her boyfriend and her sister have something that she should have had. So, I mean, I completely get it.
Yeah.
And then she's not acting on the jealousy or anything, but she does, I don't have that.
Yeah. I feel bad for her there.
I think she's happy for Tori, though.
Yes.
She is.
Yeah.
So now the twins can rid everybody of the shadows, apparently, and it's just so easy. But at least they explained it, or at least they tried to explain it a little bit in this book. And it was, from my understanding, you send the Phoenix Flames into them like you're trying to get rid of coercion, but you send it with love and good emotions.
Do you know what this made me think of?
What's that?
The Dementors.
That's what I wrote down too.
Yeah, it made me think of Patronus's, like, think of your happiest thought, Harry.
Yeah.
And then Harry's like, I don't have any happy thoughts.
This is the chocolate cure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Which they, talk about suicide by lack of chocolate later, so.
They do.
And I would like to point out that I was 100% right. And Max bows to Jerry. She calls him like a servant. And he is on that shit.
And
so
he
fast.
is doing everything he can. He is still fucking trying.
He does, but he doesn't bow to the twins.
But that's because Jerry hasn't asked. If Jerry said you bow, he will bow.
Oh my god.
You think?
Yes. Yes.
But I will point out that in this chapter, they have to make an oath that they have no ill intent to the twins. And it holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even Max steps through and is like, well, okay.
Yeah. Looks like we're friends now.
Mm-hmm.
But we have suffered from, and you brought this up a little bit already, but we've suffered from the ass club, the whores, the cunts, and now we have the cocks.
What's
circle
the
of
full
covert
name?
keepers.
The circle of covert keepers. They tried really hard to make that happen, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I will tell you that there are at least 2 more that I remember coming up. Any thoughts on what they could be? Acronyms.
Didn't we already have an anus? Do we have an anus yet or no?
Ass?
an anus?
Oh, no, I think it's just ass, whores, cunts, and cocks.
Okay, so maybe an anus. I'm guessing an anus.
I hope we get the tits, because that would be great. The tits. I don't know what else.
The balls.
Yeah. That's an easy one, I feel.
Oh my god.
What else? The whores, the cunts. What's another funny cuss word? They're British, so I'm trying to think along that line.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. But I feel like the tits is a good guess.
We should write these down.
We should.
Take bets. Who calls what?
All right, so you already talked about the vow a little bit, but another part of that vow that they had to do was they had to vow never to reveal the location and to never harm or kill anybody in the burrow.
Right.
And we know that plays a part later on because had somebody broken that vow, Hamish would have known.
Right, but it was not within the burrows. So it
It was within the hidden part.
That area.
Right, but is that in the burrow?
I think it was Darcy.
I think that's an interesting guess, Christy. I had not really put together what you were saying in the notes until I read your thoughts. But another thing that I thought of is from reading your notes as well. You pointed out that Justin Masters is there. I'm just saying the fact that Brittany continues to ask us if he's an ass plant leads me to believe
that somewhere he is.
Leads me to believe that he is going to betray us, and therefore, what if the killer is Justin Masters?
So speaking of which, do you still think Justin's an ass?
Yes. I think some way, somehow, because he's looks like that, or he seems like that, but I think something with that curse turns Darcy, and she doesn't know it. I don't think she's doing it because she means to, but I think for Hamish, they did the whole Cyclops interrogation, but they didn't do that with her. Not that it would matter anyways.
Right.
But yeah, that's why I think there were several things that just made it seem a little bit odd that I felt like it was going to be like an inside job, that the curse is still there because they're making too much of the curse not being there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's a good thought.
I agree with that.
Well, we'll talk more on that later. So what did you guys think of the underground rebel base, just in general? You've got the bathrooms that are essentially pools and the royal quarter.
It sounds interesting. The bathing pools remind me of Japanese bathing areas, like the public ones where they're separated by gender, but then you can kind of just walk in and out. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I forget what they're called. Yeah, it's like a traditional Japanese.
Although,
let me look it up.
It cracked me up because
you've got plant soap that looks like bamboo.
Oh, no, it was leaves, wasn't it? That they you suds up or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hamish's whole it was that whole tits, bits, holes and poles. That's what it sounded like.
The bathhouses are called onsens.
Oh, okay.
If you ever want to look them up, Brittany, so you see what I'm talking about. But it's like one big hot spring room, I think, and then it's separated by a wall for the genders. So you can walk in on one side, but you can technically see on the other side if you look over the wall, but they have strict rules against that. But anyway, it just reminded me of that. It looked like that in my mind.
But yeah, Hamish is interesting with the language here, as you pointed out, Christy, with your holes and your poles.
Terrible.
It's funny though. That's what it reminded me of. I can just see him now.
Tits, pits, holes, and poles is the worst way he could have said it.
So, Christy, I thought of you when I was reading this, but throughout this section, on multiple occasions, Orion and Darcy just have trouble getting some private alone time.
Thank you, authors.
It was cracking me up.
It's like they're being punished, right?
Or I'm being rewarded.
But, first Xavier walks in through the clock, because he accidentally got left outside. Then Seth decides he needs to stay in their room. And I think there was another time in which they were in the hallway and Orion heard somebody coming, so he pulled her panties up so hard she got a wedgie.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're having some difficult times.
Meanwhile, I'm over here I swear to God, if one more person interrupts them, I'm going to launch myself into the sun. I was trying so hard just to read the intimate moment. And then Seth comes in and he's like, whoa, 50 Shades of Blue. Stop.
I think it's about safety, though, because think about it. Every time they have sex, major shit goes down. I think it's a safety precaution.
You're like, if they have sex, someone's gonna die.
Well, as you pointed out, Lily, you think that they're mates. So if they're Elysian mates, they're going to have tests. So you think this is a test,
I think it's the
or
final one. Him being power shamed, I mean.
well, what do you mean? What's the test with him being power shamed?
Her sticking beside him, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
through everyone else rejecting him. Because everyone says he's an unfit partner for a queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, which, by the way, I said this to you guys, Orion being power shamed is my 13th reason. I think it's so frustrating to read. I love his character. I hate that he's going through it. And I think Darcy feels the same. And at first I was really frustrated because she didn't speak up against everyone else in that first chapter. She kind of just was like watching how things played out. But later she does. So I'm hoping that that is proof that this is their final test. I'm really hoping.
You answered my next question, which was, if they are, how many tests do you think are left?
I don't know.
What about you, Christy?
I'm scared.
Answer one thing for me, though, if you know. It just seems odd to me that they are supposed to be the queens, right? And these people, if they are traditionalist, would do whatever the queens say. The queens have said multiple times that he is not power shamed and that
I know
they are with
and
him. So how has there not been this very quick jump to try to please them and to welcome Orion?
Well,
I don't know. They never address it. They don't ever address why the queen saying you're no longer power shamed means that they're no longer power shamed.
Okay.
All right. So Tori and Darius finally get reunited. He comes back and he finds her standing outside and he's like, "Is it too much to hope that you're waiting for me?" Which is also kind of cute. But
it is cute.
she's also feeling super insecure and like about herself, about her relationship. And I feel like this is the most vulnerable we've ever seen Tori. And I kind of really, well, I mean, other than her being tortured, but as far as her relationship goes, this is the most vulnerable she's been.
Yeah, I really liked this chapter for that reason, actually.
Yeah, I think Tori only knows how to function when there's challenges and when there's hurdles. And I think for him to have completely cleared all of those, as far as she knows, because she doesn't know about the whole year thing, I don't think yet. And so I think it's hard for her when it's open road, here's your happiness. She doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to look at it, to say that she really only knows what to do when there's an obstacle facing her. Right? She doesn't know how to sit with herself.
Yeah. Agree. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately for her, I guess, but also fortunately, they're finally free to be together. They're in a good place. He's not married. She's not bonded. They're no longer star-crossed. And unfortunately, Darius does lie to her about the deal he made. Any predictions on how that's going to turn out?
That really bummed me out. I just wanted him to be honest with her. It's not like an outright lie. He kind of omits it, but it's like a lie by omission. It's frustrating because I see where he's coming from in that he doesn't want to tell her because it'll ruin their last year together. But at the same time, she deserves to know that he made that decision.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he proposed to her practically, and
he did.
She said, "Let's talk about it in 20 years.
And he was like, "Oh, we don't have 20 years.
Yeah. And you know it's going to come out at the worst possible time.
Oh, yeah. That's how these authors work.
That's how generally all authors work. With a secret, it comes out at the worst possible time.
True. I did take note of his little proposal, like pseudo proposal, and I do have to wonder if whether or not it's Tori and Darius, if we are going to get a wedding in this book, because if you think about the scenes that we have not seen from Harry Potter yet.
We got a wedding last book.
Not from a good perspective, not a real wedding. In Harry Potter, one of my favorite scenes is the wedding at near the ends of the books. I think it's in 6, it might be in 7. It's in 7, I think, where Luna Lovegood's dad is there and Harry has to go in disguise. I love that scene, so I kind of hope we get a weird wedding.
It's Bill, Weasley, and...
Oh yeah, Fleur?
Yeah.
Fleur Delacour.
Yeah, I couldn't remember her last name.
Yes.
Do you want a spoiler?
Are we going to get a wedding? Tell me we're going to get a wedding!
Do you want to get a spoiler?
I don't know. I'm going to leave it up to Christy.
Damn. Just answer yes or no if we're going to get a wedding, but don't tell us whose.
Nothing else.
Yes.
Yes!
Don't say yes. This could fucking be like Mildred and Darius.
Well, the wedding in Harry Potter also goes poorly, but I'm just saying I hope we get a good wedding scene.
Come.
I'm excited. I have high hopes.
I would not have high hopes for
Oh, fuck. Wait a minute. Because that could mean that it's Lionel and
Oh, true.
and Crazy Pants.
Lavinia.
Yep.
Crazy Pants. She is crazy.
Spoiler, there will be 3 marriages in this book.
So we know definitely Lionel's.
Ew. Because she has to be made queen, so that makes sense.
And I think Catalina and Hamish. Well, no, because Brittany wouldn't know that, but I think they will. So but I think that'll have to be after the resolution of the final book that they would get married. So it can't be one of them.
Yeah, probably. I think it's gonna be the twins. I think Darius is gonna try to marry Tori before he dies, and it's gonna rip our hearts out. Ah! I'm not ready. And she's going to be like, can we wait, please? And he's going to be like, I don't have the time. And then she's going to be like, what? Okay, anyway.
You also have to remember, Catalina is married still.
That's what I'm saying, is that we can't, we won't have a resolution. So Lionel will die.
So technically Lionel is too, though.
Well, no, but he doesn't think he is, though.
Wait, is Catalina going to die?
Technically Lionel is too.
But he doesn't think he is. He thinks she's dead.
Right, he thinks she's dead.
Yeah, so he could still get married.
No. The stars know.
But are they going to drop down and be like, hello, your wife is still alive?
He can't get married. It won't work.
Yeah, do you remember in Darius's fake wedding, the vow did not go through because 1, Gabriel was already married, and 2,
it wasn't real.
It wasn't meant. So...
But that means that Lionel could still have a wedding to Lavinia.
Make her think that
and it wouldn't go through. And she thinks she's got him by the balls when in reality she is not queen.
That's what it sounds like.
And has no access to the Imperial Star. And then that foils her plans and then everybody dies. Okay.
Yes, end of story.
That is how he is going to find out Catalina is still alive, is because she will not be able to wield the Imperial Star. And they're going to wonder why.
I wonder if he's stupid enough that he would think she can't do the bond because she's technically a nymph.
Maybe.
Possibly.
And also not like a real person. She's like a shadow of a person. I don't know.
She's like 1,000 years old.
Yeah, so like a spirit of a person. I don't know.
Possibly.
There's a lot of possibilities. But either way, the marriage won't be legit.
Mm-hmm. But we could still get a wedding.
Right. Damn it. I was hoping for a good wedding.
I think at least one of them will be. I think at least one will be a good wedding.
So we get our first point of view from Lionel, unfortunately.
Gag.
What? I guess that answers my, what did you guys think about that?
I was reading it like, no one cares, Lionel. Shut the fuck up. No one cares. You did this to yourself. That's my only thought during the whole chapter.
Yeah, this felt a little too real.
Except for the fact that he got a shadow hand, and then I raged.
I was mad about that too, because I wanted to see him suffer for a little bit longer.
Yeah, for sure.
But Christy, you had said previously that you thought that Lavinia would end up controlling Lionel, and she does that here. She forces him to change forms, even when he can't force himself to do it. And she stops him from killing Vard, again, unfortunately. And then she also throws him around the throne room a little bit. So...
Hard not to be a little bit Team Lavinia at that point.
I know, right? I was like, I kind of like her a little bit. She literally grabs him by the balls and is like, what did you say? I'm sorry, what was that?
She's like,
okay, that's what I thought.
I'm owed an Acrux king, so if you and your little balls can't provide that, I'll kill you and go marry one of your sons. Thank you.
Yep.
I don't care who's a dragon.
I kind of have to hand it to her.
Just who's in charge.
She kind of gives Azula vibes.
Oh, she does.
Azula is crazy, doesn't she?
Yeah. Though I feel like Lavinia is crazier than
For
Azula.
sure.
Okay, who's
Well,
Azula?
Azula is a character from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay.
She is a great character. She gets crazier by the end, though, I would say. So maybe she's the end season Azula.
So Azula and Bellatrix together.
Ooh, yeah. Because Azula is scary because she's calculating, and that's how I see Lavinia. Like, she knows what she has to do to get it done, and she's gonna do it.
But she's also insane like Bellatrix.
Right. Right.
And she's no longer got the guardian bond for Lionel to control her with.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, he's got to figure out how he's going to control this woman. And she kind of scares him a little bit, which,
She would scare me.
with reason. Who do you guys think is going to win that battle? Lionel or Lavinia?
Lavinia.
Absolutely. He is no longer a player.
He never was. He just he used people enough to
True.
pretend he was powerful, but he in and of himself is weak.
Yeah, I mean, he, at the very end, he still thinks he's in control. And I'm just like, dude, you are deluded.
We should call him Cheeto. Because I really like that description of him. Actually has no power at all, just uses other people. I like that.
Yeah, okay. So Lionel wants to execute the family members of those who rebelled. And yet, he does have the council members, and Stella comes in. He also says some pretty awful things to her. Do you think he'll end up punishing the family members of the people who rebelled? Because, I mean, a lot of them, well, not a lot of them, but our main people are supposedly, theoretically, loyal to Lionel. The council members are not, but he thinks they are.
Okay, I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think there's a possibility.
I would give a 90% chance that he will go after them because she sets up that whole, system to let them know. And I think at some point that system is going to be deployed and they will have to run for it.
Yeah.
With Stella, she is desperate here, and he threatens to kill her, and he treats her horribly. Do you think eventually that might finally change her mind, open her eyes? Or do you think that she will just be this desperate bitch to the end?
Desperate bitch to the end.
Yeah. I'm leaning that way too, Christy. I feel a little bit bad for her, only because it's a shitty position to be in. But I kind of see her as a henchman. So she's not really going anywhere else, I think. I think that she's kind of dug her grave and she's going to have to lie in it.
Mm-hmm.
Lionel's killing off all his people anyway.
If Lionel were Scar, then she would be Shenzi.
I really wish that Lavinia would have let Vard die.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that was, I want Tori to kill him.
Oh, she needs that. She deserves that.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful justice.
Mm-hmm.
Though Darius did promise to gut him.
Christy, your brain always works like that. I want to point that out.
Vengefully?
Every single time we're like, oh, I wish this character would die, your brain goes, actually, I think it would be better if this person had revenge. And I respect the shit out of that. Oh, man. It's beautiful every time.
So Lionel finds out that Darius didn't actually marry Mildred. She is brought out like a pig on a plate. And Lionel, all he can sit there and go is, what about my heir? And so Lavinia, this is where she grabs him by the balls and she's like, you will marry me and I will give you a child.
Right.
Think this is going to happen? This lovely child between a potential 1,000-year-old nymph and FA?
Mm-hmm.
I am concerned. It's giving... Have you guys seen Game of Thrones?
Yes, I have.
I haven't, but I know the concept.
It's
Melisandre?
giving Shadow Baby. Yes, it's giving the Shadow Baby. Okay, there's a scene. I'm sorry for the spoilers for everybody.
A really creepy scene that I will not watch.
There's a creepy ass scene in it, Christy, where Melisandre is this red witch. She's supposedly thousands of years old, but she wears a glamour that makes her look young. And she has sex with a major
A
character.
lot of people.
Well, yes, but she has sex with one particular character in order to create this creepy shadow baby that then comes out of her. She births it, and then it assassinates another character. And that's what's gonna happen. Some nasty shadow baby's gonna come out of her shadow pussy, and it's gonna go kill somebody else. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh my god.
Sorry.
No.
Shadow cunt.
Oh,
Man, I've had
man.
too much caffeine.
Things I want to say.
Oh Lord. Maybe you're right. Holy
Interesting.
crap.
I'm about to say, it's always bad when Brittany doesn't have a straightforward response.
All right, so Orion learns that Darius is back after waking up with Seth Cuddles.
I love this scene dearly.
I mean,
He wakes up with Seth in his arms when he fell asleep with Darcy in his arms. I would freak out too.
Seth in this whole book is, like, so
Yes,
far at least,
so
is
far.
just needed.
Oh god, I just love his
He
scenes
is-
so much.
Yeah, he is great comic relief.
He is. I made
And-
Johan read that whole scene where he's like, "Did I fuck her?" Well, that's a debatable question. He goes, no, yet. Oh man, that's such a good scene.
There's also Xavier there to clumsily stumble in and be in the wrong place at the,
Yes,
I guess, wrong time. But
true.
so Orion runs off to see Darius, and he gets a moment, and it's awkward, and the airs come in, and he's kind of pushed off to the side. And since there's no guardian bond anymore, do you think their relationship's gonna change? I think we talked about it a little last week, but
We did briefly. I think that their relationship, once they get over the fact that it's weird that they don't have a bond anymore, I think their relationship is going to be very similar to what it was before, to be honest with you. I think that they have grown so attached to each other that it would be weird for them to be any different. And I think they're going to eventually realize that amongst themselves and be like, yeah, we don't need the bond for that.
what about with the other heirs? They always kind of accepted Orion because he was his guardian. I mean, Seth clearly has already been like, you're my buddy. And Darcy even asked Seth to be his friend, which was cute.
Kind of sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. But, Caleb really does not like him. And Max just kind of ignores him. So how do you think that's going to factor into the relationship with Darius? Because they are his best friends. And Orion is very much on the I love being alone train.
He doesn't.
Although at this point,
He's so full of shit.
at
He
this
is.
point, you protest too much.
Yeah. No, I think they'll be close. They're brothers in arms at this point. So I feel like they're gonna end up just as close to Orion. And I think for Darius and Orion, I think it's gonna be more brotherly and less snuggly.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're still gonna snuggle.
So
I think that Orion is not as solitary as he says. This whole chapter 4, is about how lonely he feels. And I think that's proof of the fact that he really just wants to be accepted into the group. And maybe it was always that way. He didn't even realize it. So I think that they're going to become friends. I think eventually he'll be accepted and be a part of the Scooby Gang officially.
Even Caleb.
yeah.
Even Caleb.
Even though they're vampire natures.
Well,
Kind of-
once Caleb finally accepts Seth as his mate, however mate he wants to accept him, I think that that'll be over because they'll both have sources, and there will be no fighting.
All right. So Gabriel comes in and he's like, you need to go to this mountain. And he sends Darcy off with him. They run into some nymphs. They kill them really quickly. And then they finally have some alone time in the sky.
Did you see what I wrote?
Yeah.
in the
Where?
notes?
Feyre and Reese.
I was like,
Is
are we
this
having
Farrah
a
and Reese?
Farrah and Reese moment right now?
Yes, we are.
I was like, oh, apparently.
Honestly, as far as the scene goes, I felt like it was literally just for them to finally talk, which they do.
Yes.
Good.
Thank
Yeah.
God. And then actually screw each other.
Yeah.
Hopefully, other than the power shaming thing, hopefully their relationship issues are drama free from now on.
I don't think they're going to be. That
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense at all. Plus, if Darcy is cursed, then I think it's just beginning.
Yeah, I do think, well, I guess that could be another test possibly in their relationship.
Mhm.
But I don't know if that's really a test for them as much as a test for just the plot of the book. I'm not sure. I didn't think about that one.
Speaking of the curse affecting their relationship / Orion, go back to the prophecy.
The hunter
The
will
hunter
pay
will
or something.
pay the ultimate price. Why?
So if that is the curse, if Darcy has this curse, and if that's the curse that they're talking about in the prophecy, do you think Orion's going to suffer?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. It
I think
says to
he's-
suffer the curse.
Yeah.
Well, it says suffer the curse, the hunter will pay the price.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to happen either way. I just wonder what it means, considering that man has given up everything so far. So I don't know why the authors continue to do this, but
Yeah.
To be fair, it's not quite everything just yet. He still has a life.
So, in other
I'll
words,
come
he
through this
dies.
video and kill you. I will come through this.
I think
So
if
when
he
he
dies,
dies,
he'll
what?
come back, though.
Can I just say it was a little awkward that Gabriel just facilitated getting his sister laid?
He did. I thought of that.
I was like,
Dude, you knew what was going to happen.
With his bestie, too.
With his bestie.
This is why writing him as an all-seeing eye is a problem.
I mean, I do love that when he shows up at Orion's door, he's like, yeah, you didn't want to see that because I didn't want to see that because the stars are assholes because they will send that shit to me.
I feel like it sucks that they want to make us suffer through some of our favorite characters, you know, like dying, going through all of this. I feel like one is enough.
Yeah.
And to pace it,
they
too.
do go.
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
They do go on a never-ending roller coaster ride of badness.
Yeah.
But that's my thing, is if they keep it up, like Supernatural did, where literally, like at the first, when they did it, it was huge. It was good. I mean, I love the show. But it got to where every single finale was one of the brothers signing a contract for his life away. And the whole next season was about him about to die. And of course, you know.
Yeah.
But it gets to the point where you just don't care anymore. So hopefully they don't keep doing that.
My dad does the same thing with 911. At the end of every season, there was an earthquake. There was a plane crash. There was a tsunami. There was a power outage. And my dad was just like, it's just unbelievable that
It's
all
like,
of
at
this
this
happened
point-
to one fire station.
Oh my God. It feels like it happens so much that it's not impactful anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not worried too much about Darius dying because there's more books and I don't think he's not going to live. You know what I mean?
Right. So living on the run in this rebel camp is a little different for the heirs than what they're used to. And they're having some trouble adjusting. Caleb has made his room into what Max says it looks like a hotel suite.
Oh, I love this part because this is when I realized that Caleb was Posh Spice. If they were the Spice Girls, Caleb would be Posh Spice.
But not only that,
Oh my lord.
Max and the other heirs don't know how to go get their own food. They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to do their laundry. They're living
Spoiled-ass
underground.
motherfuckers. Literally.
They're living underground and they're like, what, nobody's going to bring us food? What? I have to wear dirty clothes? I have
Literally.
to make my own clothes because I don't know how to wash them.
He was like, I don't even know how to wash my clothes, bro. Were you ever going to survive this?
Yeah.
And I love that they were like, okay, look, I'll use my water magic to wash your clothes if you use your earth magic to make my room nice.
and
And poor Darius gets food duty, in which he burnt the toast and didn't even put butter all the way to the edges.
Okay, that was
Yep.
funny.
Why is the butter not all the way to the edges? He was like, it's burnt. I'm sorry, it's really hard to toast a bagel without a toaster. I would have preferred just regular bread, dude. Like, okay, Seth, go get your own.
Meanwhile, the twins are being treated like princesses by Geraldine.
Yeah, which is funny because they don't want that either.
Yeah. I love the part where Darcy was like, would you shut up if you had a bagel in your mouth? That's our trade. You shut up, I'll give you a bagel.
Yeah, they're fun.
I think later on, too, the way with Geraldine, when she gets upset for her having manly clothes, I was like, really? Because of all of them, Geraldine would be the one first. I mean, hell, half the time she didn't even have clothes on.
Truly.
That is true, but she has in the past treated just the twins like they have to be in gowns all the time because they're royal. So they have to look royal. And it is frustrating. I hate it. I don't like that she does that. I think she's done it twice before.
Yeah, it feels out of character for her.
I think we kind of talked about at the beginning of the series that we felt like the authors might be a little bit, I don't know, maybe not sexist, but just kind of weird about certain gender things. Mm-hmm. They made it sound like Xavier's coming out was going to be about him being gay. They still make gay jokes in the books. They point out whenever girls wear men's clothes, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter to us, but I think it's just something that is probably in the back of their head that is ending up on the paper.
Or maybe do they assume that American culture, that would be
maybe
a thing?
I'll be honest, I didn't take Geraldine's comments here as she shouldn't be wearing masculine clothes because she's a girl.
Yeah.
But because she's
just because she's royal. And that's probably more likely.
I think if she were wearing really nice jumpsuit or, a really nice suit, I don't think Geraldine would have minded it so much.
If she was wearing like a nice pantsuit, Geraldine would have been like, you look lovely, fabulous.
I don't know, though, because they said masculine, and I can't remember if it was this chapter or...
It was the second chapter.
Another one, but they specifically referenced the fact that she was wearing masculine clothes, and that was the problem that she had.
I know in the past she's been like, don't look frumpy.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of both.
Could be.
I just ignore those parts because I don't feel like that's really what Geraldine would say. So
yeah, I will point out that this is the chapter where we get an introduction to the name Radcliffe. What? Are you fucking kidding me?
What? Where?
It's Lionel's brother.
Oh.
Caleb mentions when he's meeting with his mom, I believe, Lionel's brother Radcliffe died, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm trying to remember if I remembered that correctly. I'm over here reading the book like, are you literally kidding me? Radcliffe? Like Daniel Radcliffe? The actor of Harry Potter?
I never caught that.
Are you kidding me? What? I can't believe that it's just literally on the page right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, nothing more to add about that. Just disbelief.
Speaking of Lionel, he does have the heirs' positions replaced with their siblings.
Right.
And so they are understandably a little upset and they're worried about their families. And Caleb goes to meet with his mom in secret. She decides to stay behind with Lionel so that she can work against him from the inside. Do you think that'll work? Any predictions on how that might turn out? Are we going to lose any family members here?
I think it's going to be like Tori, where it works for a little while and then it might blow up in their face.
I think they're going to have to run. They're going to have to use that system that they set up. But I think they're going to at least get some sort of win. Maybe not the war, but they're going to win a couple battles, I think, because they're on the inside. But I think ultimately they'll have to run and join the rebellion.
Yeah.
Except for Ellis. I think Ellis will stay. Yeah. I think Ellis will be the new Clara.
Damn.
Ew,
harsh.
She's 18.
Harsh. Wasn't Clara like 17 or something? I don't know.
She was out of school, so 23, 24-ish.
Okay, damn. I forget they're not in high school sometimes. I keep forgetting that. I keep thinking
Yeah,
out of school
yeah.
means like 18, 19, but it really means like 22 to 25 age, kind of. That's mind-boggling to me.
And speaking of Radcliffe, they do talk about how Lionel wasn't the original heir. He was a spare. And the only reason he even became an heir is because his brother had an accident.
So he is Scar.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Oh, yeah. What an accident.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear immediately. As soon as you hear that, read that in the book, you're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
clear what happened.
Down in that wine, are we, Brittany?
Yeah, yeah.
Taking a sip of the
It
wine.
it does say that Lionel's father covered it up and made sure that nobody thought that Lionel did anything, and that he played it off as an accident. Do you think if he did kill him, or if he knew that he killed him, do you think his father knew if he did?
If he's anything like Lionel, he probably knew and was just like, hey, that's how Fae works.
Exactly.
All right, so when Caleb returns to the Burrows, Seth is waiting for him, and they go on a hunt, which ends
I got so excited.
fairly quickly, and they have some sexy times, sort of. Like, it gets kind of close.
Bro, I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, no way, no way, no way. What the fuck? I was like,
And then there's murdered bodies.
and then it's like, oh, taken right out of it. What the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, I was so excited for both of them. Why did they keep cock blocking them? Uncool.
Well, especially with that,
Yeah.
because I had to go back and I was like, wait, what? I must have missed something.
Because you were probably skipping the sex scene. You were like, okay, anyways. And then you were
No,
like,
not
oh.
for the two of them, because I like to see it, but it was like sexy, 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 dead body. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, where did I
Oh, I see.
fucking miss
You were just
something?
like, that was quick.
Also, I want to point out, I don't know what these authors have with ear sex, but they've mentioned it twice in the
They
first
have.
9 chapters.
Yeah.
They have a lot of weird hangups.
You know, they got something going on. Maybe we need to have a chat. You guys okay?
I feel like that they have some sort of weird pornographic Teletubby type situation going on at home.
I'm sorry, what? Teletubbies? That's dark. That's dark. Why Teletubbies?
Teletubbies were
I don't
creepy
know.
to
They're
begin
just
with.
like so happy and bouncy. And then you add the porn. I don't know. They just have like this really weird perception of sex. It's like unicorn farts and I don't know.
I see. So you think that they would probably make anything weirdly sexual, probably?
Yeah.
They probably
Yeah.
would.
Anything happy and
Well,
Yeah. Joyful.
brightly colored. That yes.
Ew.
well,
Sorry, now I'm like hearing the Teletubby squeaks.
Oh no. Gypsy Poe.
had Seth and Caleb not been interrupted, do you think they would have finally gone all the way?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I thought Seth was about to spill. I thought they weren't going to get anywhere. I thought Seth was going to just end it by accident.
It sounded like it. He's like, I'm gonna.
Yeah, it did seem like that. Which, honest to God, if that happened, I think that might have been a better scene. I would have been like, yes, that's so much better than him just giving him head. I was like,
All
if he
over his
just,
face.
yeah, if he just finished by accident, no, not on his face, but like if Seth just finished.
Oh, there it goes.
Well, okay, but think about it. If a guy's laying back and his dick is probably laying against his stomach, so he would probably not get it on his face. Just saying.
Yeah, but Seth said it was against Caleb's ear.
True.
Earwax. Yeah.
True. Ew. Anyways. Okay, wherever he finishes is not the point. The point is, I thought it would be great because they would have to confront it. You know what I mean? He would finish and then it would make it awkward and then they'd have to have a conversation. You know what I mean? Instead of them just having sex, which is fine. But I kind of prefer it when the characters actually talk to each other. So I was
Yeah.
like, ugh, I wanted that to happen.
Yeah, later on when
They still will,
they're
but
going to see Tori and Darius, and Seth says, at least one of us should be getting laid. And Caleb's like, you told me you were sleeping with somebody. I wanted to be like, Seth, use any other
right?
excuse.
Right?
But yeah.
Anyways,
Alright.
this literal horror movie scene jumps out at us. Also, that was dirty for them to get us engrossed in the book, excited, and then just drop that awfulness on the reader. Rude. Rude.
Yeah. Meanwhile, all the other people are having a water ball fight in the bathroom.
Are they?
Yeah, they were throwing water balls at each other, and Geraldine got involved and was like
okay.
making exploding water balls.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, I thought you meant water balloons. And I was
Water
like, I don't remember
balloons.
water balloons. No, I know what you're talking about now. Sorry.
Yeah, so Xavier asked if he can contact Sophia, and we learned that although she's a member of the Ass Club, she wasn't included
not
in the battle. I'm guessing, I don't know how they chose who
Yeah.
would go to the battle, but for some reason they did not choose her. I don't know if she decided to stay or what happened, but she's a Pegasus.
And she was at that
One of
super
the-
secret party, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So why isn't she there?
And she's one of the orders that Lionel hates, so I would think that she would at least go with her friends.
yeah,
I know she's got school and all, but so do the twins.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
weird.
It is weird that she's not there. It makes me question what happened.
I feel like it's kind of shitty that she was left behind and that Tyler was
Yeah.
left behind.
Especially
I don't-
Tyler.
Yeah, I don't see them opting out of the battle, considering they were told to fly away when the nymphs invaded the pitball stadium, and they both came back and fought with the twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tyler's so outspoken anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. It almost felt like the authors forgot about them and then we're like, oh fuck. And that was their way to fix it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. The question is, how was everybody invited to the fight? Because they kind of tell us a little bit in one of these chapters, like this person was alerted and then he alerted this person and these people were alerted. And that's how we find out that certain people know and certain people don't. Like when Lionel ends up talking to Stella and he realizes, oh, she doesn't even know that her daughter is dead or gone. And you don't really realize it until Lionel says it. And you're like, oh, yeah, not everyone in the book was at that battle. It was a weird number of people.
But it's weird because Xavier is all about the what's up with Sophia. And he doesn't have a whole lot of people that he really communicates with. And so I'm shocked that especially because Tyler is his dom at this point. So how is there not a connection that way?
I just thought about it. It was Christmas Day that fight happened. They were all away from the school. So maybe they just couldn't contact them.
It seems odd, though.
They have mandatory, you have to go home for Christmas.
You do, but you
rules.
still have connection devices that they should be connected by. And I would think being the dom, would Tyler not feel something was off?
I don't know.
I don't know if they're connected, like bonded that way.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I feel like, I don't know. We'll have to find out later.
So Caleb and Seth come in and they go, there's been a murder! And
Not just a murder, a terrible, terrible murder.
yeah, a massacre, really,
Yeah.
because they said that they were massacred. And I don't know if they said how many guards, but it seemed like multiple. And everybody who has entered the borough has supposedly said this vow. So who do you think the murderer is? Is it an outside person, an inside person? What do y'all think happened?
Darcy.
Did the nymphs break in? You think it's Darcy?
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's someone on the inside, but I don't know. I don't know if it's Darcy. I do think you made a great point, though, that it would make sense for it to be Darcy because she's cursed. They're under the impression the curse is gone. There's no way it's gone. But we don't know how it affects Darcy yet, so I think that would be a really fun twist if it was Darcy. I think just to play a different card, I'll say Justin Masters, but I don't really know. I don't really have a guess.
Yeah, I think somehow the
Justin
curse
masters
lets
the ass
Lavinia
plant.
see through Darcy or something to that effect. I think that's how the nymphs found him on the mountain as well.
Oh, you think? Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking when they were on the mountain. I was like, if there's nymphs here, you should leave because the nymphs can probably tell Lavinia where you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's not safe. We've already been down this road. Leave. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Nothing happened. They had sex. They went home. I don't know.
Yeah, you pointed out in the notes, Christy, that Darcy did have a fight with the guards. We don't know if it was those specific guards that died,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't know if
Right.
it happened on the same day as the mountain. And then, guards end up dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great point. It's a great point.
Yeah, I just felt like they were pointing a little much to Darcy. And then with the whole Cyclops thing, they made it a point to note that she did not go through the Cyclops processing because she's queen, but also because it won't matter because of the Phoenix power. But,
Yeah.
everybody else passed. And that was my thing, is if everybody else passed the check, then I figured it was
Well,
her. It's like Clue.
That's
Yeah.
Tori didn't go through it. Darius didn't go through it. Gabriel didn't go through it. Hamish didn't go through it because Darius and Gabriel both have the Phoenix kiss where the Cyclops
Right.
interrogation won't work on them either.
Right.
And you can train your brain. They kind of sort of gloss over this in there, but they mention it. You can train your brain to resist Cyclops interrogation, but it's hard.
Right.
You can, but I just think they pointed out way too much that Darcy's curse isn't gone, that it wasn't completed. And I think that that would be the ultimate. I mean, what better undermining gesture than to make it where your queen is killing her own people?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
I thought I wrote a question here about that, but we kind of skipped over it. When they first arrive, she thought she had a handprint on her arm, and then she realized it was gone. And so she's decided that her Phoenix burned the curse away. And Orion agrees because he's like, we don't know what Phoenixes can do. If you don't feel like you have the curse, then you probably don't. So what do you guys think about the curse? Is it gone? If it's not, what do you think it is?
There's no way it's gone. There's no way it's gone. It would not have been implemented in the last book, near the end, if it was not going to be a huge part of this book. And like you said, there's a prophecy that it mentions a curse. So it's for sure there. We just have no idea what it means.
I think, Christy, didn't you have a theory that you put in the notes about what the curse could potentially do?
Are you talking about as far as like Darcy goes?
Yeah, I think you said it might turn her into Lavinia or something.
Well, I think I think she zones out. I think she zones out, and then maybe Lavinia can take over at that point. And that is how. I don't think Darcy is killing people. I don't think she knows what's happening. I think she probably blacks out or something.
I wonder if it happens in her sleep.
Possibly.
I wonder if it happens in her sleep. Orion wakes up without her. And when I first read the beginning of that chapter, I was like, where is she?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's made out to be like, it's no big deal, but I don't know.
They mention it too much.
Yeah.
I wonder if she is killing people even without knowledge, if that would affect her star vow not to hurt somebody, though.
I don't think so. Because if it's Lavinia doing it through her, then it's Lavinia killing them and not her.
My only reason that I don't like this theory is because I don't want it to be Darcy. I don't like the idea that Darcy is killing people. That makes me so sad. Even if it's not Darcy.
Yeah, I feel like what it's coming to, if it does end up being the case, is I feel like ultimately in the end, Darcy will be fighting Lavinia, that it will be the two of them. I think Tori is just kind of the badass along the way. I think in the end, they're going to actually make Darcy
the pro tag.
Yeah.
But
Tori will fight Lionel. Sorry.
I was like, since those two lines are next to each other and we think that the curse is on Darcy, it makes sense that the hunter will pay the price goes with that, and that the hunter is Orion. So
that's what you think.
If Darcy is killing people unknowingly, how is the hunter going to pay the price?
Is he going to give up something to take the curse away, kind of like Darius did?
That's kind of what I was thinking, but I really hate if they do that shit again. I'm pissed. I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed.
That's a good thought.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I'm tired of this. Keep digging.
All right. So in the last chapter, we get two really awkward conversations. The first being Orion asks Xavier for his virgin blood for the elixir that he's making.
He's like, I'm not a virgin.
Yeah, I definitely rub my horn against girls. Lots of girls.
And Geraldine starts laughing, like dying laughing.
I think it's Max is like, dude, this is painful. Stop.
Oh man.
Or maybe it was Caleb. I don't remember which one, but one of them was like, it's so beyond obvious that you don't know what you're talking about. Please stop. But yeah, so we got that awkward conversation, and poor Darius is like, can we please stop talking about my brother's sex life with Seth and his, I'll set you up with an orgy, it'll be fine.
Oh my god. He was like, that's the best way to learn.
Right.
And like, even Orion laughs at that.
Yeah, and then he gets mad that Seth made him laugh.
But how often are they going to have to make this elixir? He might need to refrain from sex for a while. If he's the tap for it.
I don't think that's going to be an issue, Christy.
Yeah, the elixir, I think the elixir is just to initiate people into the Zodiac Guild. So I think it only needs to be once as long as you have all your people in the same place at once.
And you have enough blood the one time, I guess.
Unless you need to make it again.
Yeah.
You're going to add more people. All right. So let's talk about the power shaming.
We didn't mention how Seth says everyone's intimidated by his mega cock.
Oh yeah, because Orion was like, here's some pants. I'm doing a favor for everybody else.
I thought that, I laughed out loud. I'm sorry. We can move on.
He says it so seriously too. He's just like, because I have a mega cock, right? Yeah.
I have to do the voice. I can't not do the voice when I read his lines.
Yeah. All right. Power shaming. Lovely, lovely power shaming. I don't understand it, even though I've read it a million times. They don't really explain it very well. There could be something physical that makes people reject him. There could not be. It's not really explained.
It doesn't make sense, though, because otherwise the heirs and Tori and even Darcy should have a physical reaction.
They should. Geraldine does mention it later, that she has to overcome the gag reflex when she looks at him. But yeah.
It just doesn't, I don't know. I think maybe possibly what's going on is, like I said, they're traditionalists in a way. And technically in a court of law, it was ruled that way. And so if we're thinking of them as a group of people who are going by the law of the land, which would include the Vegas being the queens.
Well, technically they're not queen yet.
Yeah.
Right? But the original law of the land, maybe. That, anyway, just thinking maybe it makes sense in their laws. I don't know.
Yeah. The whole situation, the only thing I can even compare it to in real life is Casey Anthony. She was tried, she was found innocent, and she was shunned. And because we all know she's guilty.
She was guilty, so everyone shunned her. Okay.
But that's not Orion.
I know.
And also, none of us gag when we see Casey Anthony, although I'm sure someone does. I gotta hold it back. I gotta keep it in.
I mean,
so
yeah.
There he is.
Oh, God.
But yeah, that, like, I was sitting here when I was, reading it again, and I was just trying to think of a real life potential case to even compare it to, and that was all I could come up with was Casey Anthony.
But it just doesn't make sense because the way that they act, the rebels act, is as if there is a physical manifestation for it. And there's just too many other people that don't have that. And so if it is societal and just what they perceive as going
Cultural,
against
in a
their
way.
beliefs or how they feel like life should be, it still is odd because at the end of the day, if that's true, then it means the Vega twins, the Vega line, the queens are the law of the land. So the second they say that's it, he is not power shamed anymore, then that should be it, and it's over, and he's not power shamed. So it's a really not, I think, well thought out.
I mean,
Right.
technically, the law of the land says that they can't be queens until they graduate.
But to these people, they are the queen.
Well, they're the heirs, they're princesses, but they can't be queen, they can't rule until they graduate from school.
Well, according to Geraldine, they're already queens, and people bow to them.
I wonder
That
if it's
is
kind
true.
of like Hagrid, how Hagrid gets convicted and his wand gets taken away because
Yeah.
they say that he opened the Chamber of Secrets and whatnot, and then it's not
When
actually
we all
him.
know he didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but everyone did shun him. A lot of people always said it was Hagrid, and he was kind of like a loner for a long time. Sad.
Yeah. So right now, Orion is living with this power shaming.
And I hate it.
And he won't be with Darcy publicly because he doesn't, it's, for some reason, it's contagious. And the thing that pisses me off is if they have kids, the shame gets inherited.
That
fucked. Seems wrong. That's really fucked.
Yeah.
But how do you think the authors are going to move past this? Because it's got to go away. It's annoying.
I feel like that they're going to power shame everybody. Like the queens are going to be like, you're all power shamed, therefore we're all on equal ground. Now we're good to go.
Oh my god, that would be great if they just got up there and be like, anybody who says a word against Orion when we take the throne, you are power shamed.
That's crazy. Okay.
Especially with everybody going, I'd rather be bitten by this venomous spider and die.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if you remember when Orion was first put in jail, or no, when he was first on the stand, maybe, Darcy talks about the possible fixes. There are not many, but one of them would be if they were Elysian mates. And I think they're going to become Elysian mates, and then he won't be power shamed anymore because everyone will know that he didn't coerce her and that it was never malicious. And so his sentence would be futile, and it'll be fine.
I don't know,
That
though.
is true.
I'm going to be pissed that happens because I feel like I would still hate the rest of the rebels. Like they don't deserve to win because if that's what it takes for them to recognize him as a good person and accept her truth, and she has told them that he did not dark coerce her. And if that's what it takes, then I feel like it kind of undermines even the rebellion support. Like I would be like, go ahead and kill all of them and get them out of there and just have people that from the beginning support him and support them. I don't know.
It would be ideal.
It would be, but Lily did make a good point. Had there been signs that they were Elysian mates and they ended up being Elysian mates, she did mention in the trial that there would have been no conviction because that was star guided. So if they do end up being Elysian mates, then potentially that conviction goes away because it was star guided.
Because it was a trial.
But that's also Lionel's court, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. I just felt like it didn't, like the rebels are willing to put their lives and their families' lives on the line to fight against Lionel. And yet then they're going to fight against and power shame somebody that's on their side and helping them. It just doesn't make sense because you would think it wouldn't matter, that they would see it the same way that you've been power shamed in Lionel's court, therefore to us, you're not power shamed. It's weird.
It wasn't Lionel's court at the time.
He was convicted before Lionel took the throne.
I mean, he was, but at the same time, Lionel was
know.
still pulling the strings at that point.
Yeah.
There's also, I just wish they would have explained the concept more. If there was a physical component to it or something. Okay, somebody's power shamed and I meet them on the street. How does everybody know he's power shamed? Do they spread his picture around and make sure you power shame this person? It just doesn't make sense. Any of it.
Yeah.
The whole
concept.
Yeah.
But
after the awkward as fuck announcement that Darcy makes, which yay, thank God she does stand up for him. Everyone decides to go back and check out the soul hat that she has, and they end up reliving Diego's life. They get a lot of memories out of it, and we get some confirmation of some of y'all's theories. Some were proven wrong. What did y'all think about the scenes and what we learned?
I think it made me more sad about Diego's passing.
I think he got more development in this one chapter than he did in the other
Yeah.
books.
Yes.
When he
Yeah.
was
Yes.
alive.
They retroactively added so much to his character, which is infuriating because I really wish we had seen more of that earlier. And I know that they did it for the reason that, we're not supposed to know everything about him until now, but it is frustrating because, I don't know, I feel like it could have gone a different way. I think they really wanted him to be the Snape character, so he had to hide things, But I do feel guilty now for hating him a little bit. And I am relieved that his anger and hatred for Darcy in the moment that really pissed me off was not him.
Yeah.
And it was just sad to see his inner thoughts, the way he was treated and stuff.
Yeah.
So we do learn who was in the woods with the blue light the night that Darcy was walking. And it was a nymph. It was just Diego
looking for
trying to
mushrooms.
find some
I kept
poison.
asking, who was it? Who was
I was like, really? This is the big
the
secret.
big bad?
A dude looking for plants to eat. Really?
Now, he did spike their drinks, though.
He did on both occasions that you
Yep.
pointed out.
Yeah.
I did feel a bit validated there. I was starting to really wonder if I was crazy because it was never addressed. I was like, maybe I just read too much into that.
Nope. He poisoned them, and we got to see how he got his powers. Alejandro forced him to kill somebody.
That was really sad. That was fucked up. I was like reading it and I was like, Jesus, there's a girl tied up in here? What the fuck? Oh my God.
Yeah, and he's what, 10 years old?
Yeah, really fucked up. And his grandma seemed like such a sweet person too.
But did she have
And
powers? I can't remember because that would mean she killed somebody.
I don't know.
It did say, or Diego's thoughts, he said, I think it was his mother told him that if he did not kill somebody and take their power, he would sicken and die. So, based on that information, I'm assuming yes.
Is that true though? Because that seems like a really poor. I don't know. That can't be true because if the nymphs and the fae lived in harmony at some point, that cannot be real because they could not live in harmony if the nymphs were just killing people to live.
That was before the Phoenix Queen took away their powers.
Oh, yeah, I guess. They had their power of their own before, so they didn't need to do that. Damn.
But again, it could also not be true because once he killed the girl and got her elemental powers, that was when he started being influenced by the Shadow Princess. So she may be
Those thoughts.
controlling the nymphs and, speaking to them and making
Telling
them
them to
believe
do
that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe she tries to convince them so that whoever kills somebody to get their power, she ends up with control of. But maybe nymphs that don't kill still retain
Right.
their own sense of autonomy.
And it had, if I remember correctly, it had special things woven into his hat to keep the Shadow Princess away.
Yeah.
Whereas Alejandro and Drusilla's knitwear did not.
Right.
And we also got to experience Diego's reckoning. We got to experience the awakening
yeah.
too, but
Yeah.
his reckoning. And the stars said, oh, well, you may be a nymph, but you're a child of ours anyway. And they accepted him. And we also found out that what he was afraid of was dying.
So sad.
Yeah, but he faced his fear.
Yeah.
And he lives on in the hat.
They mention Miguel, his dad, again, and I'm still wondering what's going on with him totally. Did we get an answer for that, or do I just not recall that?
No,
I'm
they
still
make it
wondering
sound
what's
like
going
that
on
they
with
feel
him.
like he's weak like his father.
Yeah.
We have not gotten an answer about that yet.
I I'm interested in that. What did they do to that poor man? He's a corpse. He's a zombie.
And after Drusilla died and he ran off, what happened to him? Where did he go?
Yeah.
I'm free. I'm free.
He's a real boy.
He's like in Vegas.
He's in Vegas? Stop. Oh my gosh.
Any other thoughts on the memories?
No, just kind of wish that he had been more accepted at his time in Zodiac. I know that he did have a good time and he has good fond memories of it and he ends up being happy. But I wish it was better. I wish that it was even better. You know? It's just very bittersweet.
Yeah. And you also like Astrum more as well.
Oh yeah. I forgot that we do learn that he is dead.
He is dead. He is
dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
We were like, is he alive? Is he dead?
It was actually him who died. But he expected it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any predictions on why they needed this information? How it's going to factor into the story?
Well, they know that Hale's power has gone to, what is his name? Alejandro? So they now know that the Vega parents' powers are gone through the nymphs.
Well, although Marissa, her power was taken by Drusilla, and since Drusilla's dead, they don't ever have to worry about that level of power. Is Alejandro dead? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so either.
I think probably later on we're going to find out something that we kind of glossed over or missed in the memories that are going to make a difference. We just don't know it yet.
Yeah, I'm sure there was something we missed. I don't know. Maybe the mushrooms?
The wolfsbane?
Yeah, whatever those fucking herbs were.
He was eating those because the girl he killed was a Cerberus, and that's how they redo their power.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of that one. Mm-hmm. That one, yes, but the ones that he poisoned them with, or that he tried to dope them with.
Oh, yeah. The one he threw out when the FIB came for him.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Maybe that'll come back. I don't know.
Oh, I forgot. And we did find out, I know at the beginning y'all were debating, does he have a crush on Darcy, or does he have a crush on Sophia, or is it anything at all? He did actually have a crush on Sophia. He did.
That's cute. Sorry, Diego.
Yeah.
With that little blue Pegasus doll that he had.
Honestly, not enough chicas in this chapter. I'ma say it.
Whoa. So you missed it.
I missed his chicas. It's true.
Well, they can visit him anytime they want in the hat, right?
Oh, that makes me so sad.
Any predictions on how the story is going to progress from here?
Well, people are going to join the Zodiac Guild. Is that what it's called? Zodiac Guild?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think... What?
I don't know why when you say that. I think the Lollipop Guild.
The Lollipop Guild? Well, because we're trying to think of the next cunts and cocks and whores. The next ass club. Yeah, there's going to be another ass club, another acronym. I think Darcy's, if it's Darcy killing people, we're going to have another crazy death, some kind of crazy massacre again that we don't know how it happened. Mm-hmm. My sincere hope is that Seth and Caleb have an actual sex scene and work it out. It won't happen though, I'm sure, for another book or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're going to find out about the curse. I think you said the next few chapters. I think by the end of the book, we'll find out about the curse. But I don't think that's going to happen in the next few chapters. I think we're going to score up some more deaths and things like that they're not going to know where it came from.
Yeah, definitely agree.
You said your predictions for potential weddings is Hamish and Catalina, even though she's married. Lionel and Lavinia, even though he's married.
Yes.
You both said the twins. Any other potential marriages you want to theorize?
I don't think Hamish and Catalina yet. I think that's going to be the end of the series for Hamish and Catalina.
Oh, do you think that Justin and Haley are going to be married?
No.
Sorry, but no.
Maybe Max will kill him.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe Max will take him out before it happens. Maybe Justin will be revealed as the murderer and then they'll kill him.
There you go. Now, okay, a quick question. So you said there's going to be a wedding. Does that mean there's going to be a marriage? Or could it be Jerry and Justin and Max stops it? So there's not actually a marriage.
Yeah. Fiona and Shrek kind of wedding. Like, no, don't let Farquaad marry. No.
So, unfortunately, I said that there would be 3 marriages in this book. Not all of them will have weddings.
In this book, you did not say
book.
in
You
this
didn't.
book.
You said wedding.
Said 3 marriages. You said there was going to be 1 wedding, and then you said there's going to be 3 marriages. But you didn't say in this book, so that's whack. That's crazy. That's a lot of weddings.
Not all of them will have weddings.
That's a lot of marriages.
Any weddings? Like just they're going to wake up and be married?
No, it's gonna be
like say your vows or something. Courthouse weddings.
Hey everybody, we're getting married, and then next thing you know, you're married.
Okay, so you just don't see the wedding. Like we won't see it, but there will have been one. Okay.
It skips over it.
I see.
Okay. Well, then they would probably be not important characters then.
Yeah.
I think, and to be fair, it's been a while since I've read this book, so I don't think you see the wedding, at least.
Bummer.
I could be wrong about that.
Big fat bummer for me. I wanted a wedding.
Yeah. Any predictions for Lionel and his goals?
More
Lionel is
whining.
going to be underfoot. Yeah, a lot of whining. Some whining, some anger, some, why did it have to be me? Some, I'm going to kill them. I need an heir. That's going to be anything for the future for Lionel.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything particular that you are hoping to see?
I told
Besides, Caleb and Seth?
Yes. I would really like Orion and Darcy to be mates. What about you, Christy?
I think I would like to see Lavinia embarrassing Lionel. I would like to see that. That would be fun.
Oh, I think that is a given.
Yeah, that's going to be what I look forward to in the next few parts.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit Team Lavinia. I realize at some point I'm not going to like her, but for right now, I'm okay.
I'm on the same side for now.
What about anything you hope to God doesn't happen in the next couple of chapters?
Anything
I hope
going
none
back?
of our main group dies.
Oh, yeah.
I know Darius is supposed to die. I know Orion's supposed to pay the price. But it would also suck if like Caleb or Seth or Max or Jerry or any of our other friends die. So no deaths, please. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep, I agree.
In the book or in the next couple of chapters?
In general.
At all, ever.
Ever. All right, I guess we'll end it there. We hope that everyone has enjoyed the show. Next episode, we will be discussing Book 7, Heartless Sky, chapters 10 through 16.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to continue to bring you new episodes each week, so please do so. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.